Well, here on Man Man with the Show, we have been trying to fight the good fight to bring you information on what's going on around the world, especially those of you in the U.S. We're dealing with age verification laws, online safety laws. We're dealing with this whole thing, the United Kingdom, Australia. Now, we have France also in that target line itself. The crosshairs are coming across with France itself. And, this is, when we tell you that when they say, well, we're trying to help the children, we're trying to protect the children.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
They're lying to you. They don't care about the children. If they cared about the children, right now they'd be going across the world trying to fight the trafficking, the slavery, all this everywhere there it's going on, even in this country.
You read these New York Times reports, these stories, the series of stories the New York Times has done on the children who are in your care. Have you read them?
Yes, I have.
Have you read that children are scrubbing dishes? They are operating heavy machinery. They are delivering meals. They are harvesting coffee. They are working construction. They are working as housekeepers. They are working overnight shifts at plants where they are not paid. They are not going to school. They are not cared for. They are not giving meals. Almost all of it illegally. Are you aware of that? That's a yes or no.
Yes.
Do the Know Your Rights presentation help them in those situations?
Senator ORR.
That's a yes or no, I think. Do you really think that you're helping these children by releasing them to labor traffickers and, yes, sex traffickers? 85.
I live here in New York City. We got prostitution going on out in the open. And this is the same thing that's happening in Los Angeles, San Diego, Seattle. And a lot of these prostitutes are under the age of 17. And also, they're not from this country. They're from China. They're from Africa. They're from the Middle East, Central America, South America. You name it, that's where they're coming from. And these are the situations that when you look at these online content safety laws and say to yourself, it doesn't smell right. And today, France's parliament passes a controversial law to regulate online content, including adult. Like I said, online content including adult. And that's the headline on XBiz's article. Gustav Turner, hats off to him again, bringing this really good article on here. And also, you're going to link content also to another one called The Connection, which is basically, it's a French news site, which it's translated into English. This came out on October 18th. What new digital law will change for the people in France? And it gives a brief summary on there, but we'll get it off the XBiz as well. But the thing is, and this is blatant, you have Senator Lawrence, and I'm sorry if I screw up this name, Rossignol, who's a socialist, who has admitted that the amendment stemming from the sensationalist anti-porn parliament report will complicate the life of publishers of porn sites, adding that's the goal. See, the thing about it is they don't care whether it's a porn site. They don't care if it's an anime site. They don't care. They're just wanting to shut the business down. They're not censoring it. They're not age verifying it. They're trying to make the business hard to operate so they will have to shut down. In this country, in the United States of America, that is violation of a shitload of laws. Take a moment and look it up. You cannot have government intervention on your business. The only time that they can step in if it violates the law, like drug trafficking, child trafficking. But this is nothing to do with that. These are entertainment sites. Yes, that's right. I call porn an entertainment. In some cases, depending on the particular porn, it is also an art form. Because there have been many porns in history, and you can look this up, that has been listed as an art form. There have been many back in the 1970s. There were many gay films that were shot. They were not shot as porn, but they were considered pornography, but they were done in an artistic way, and they're still listed as that today in 2023. And we're going to read a little bit into this, not the whole thing, but as Exodus reported, the adult provisions of the law aiming to secure and regulate the digital space proposed in May by the Macron government was inspired by the government's desire to bypass the courts and force platforms to implement age verification. They're not going through the court system. The courts are blocking this, but they're trying to create laws to traverse the courts themselves and to enforce it. That is a violation of most constitutional laws in each of these countries, including this. They try to do it here, and a lot of times these courts, they just throw it out, and it depends on who the judge is. This will apply not only to specific adult sites, but also to any site that allows explicit content, including Twitter. Now, understand this line. Explicit content. Well, let's look into the definition of explicit content. And it says it's a warning that media, pictures, films, or music contains adult content. This is often sexual or pornographic. It may be bad language. The explicit content warning is for parents who want to censor what their children see. Also, you can include in there, besides strong language, reference to violence, physical or mental abuse, sexual behavior, of course, sexual behavior, and discriminatory language. You can add that as well. But when it comes down to it, and you got to remember, the record companies used to put up this logo on their CDs back, beginning in the 1990s when they had those Senate subcommittee hearings and they discussed, the music is hurting the child on there. We've heard this 100 times over.
While the wife of the Secretary of Treasury recites, "Gonna drive my love inside you," and Senator Gore's wife talks about bondage and oral sex at gunpoint on the CBS Evening News, people in high places work on a tax bill that is so ridiculous, the only way to sneak it through is to keep the public's mind on something else. Porn rock. Is the basic issue morality? Is it mental health? Is it an issue at all? The PMRC has created a lot of confusion with improper comparisons between song lyrics, videos, record packaging, radio broadcasting, and live performances. These are all different mediums, and the people who work in them have a right to conduct their business without trade restraining legislation whipped up like an instant pudding by the wives of Big Brother. Is it proper that the husband of a PMRC non-member founder person sits on any committee considering business pertaining to the blank tape tax or his wife's lobbying organization? Can any committee thus constituted find facts in a fair and unbiased manner? This committee has three that we know about: Senator Danforth, Senator Packwood, and Senator Gore. For some reason, they seem to feel there is no conflict of interest involved. Children in the vulnerable age bracket have a natural love for music. If, as a parent, you believe they should be exposed to something more uplifting than sugar walls, support music appreciation programs in schools. Why haven't you considered your child's need for consumer information? Music appreciation costs very little compared to sports expenditures. Your children have a right to know that something besides pop music exists.
Or 1,000 times over, 1,000,000 times over, that this continues on here. And see, what happens is politicians and advocates also, they try to change that definition. They try to push it more closer to pornography and say, well, it's all porn. That's what explicit content means. But what it truly means is that content that is of an adult nature, like adult content. Continuing on, the law's chief cheerleader, Macron's Minister of Digital Transition, sounds like some freaking V for Vendetta title, Minister of Digital Transition. I love when they throw these words out. Jean-Noël Barrot celebrated at the time the government planned to empower ACROM to order without needing to go through the courts the blocking and delisting of adult sites that do not prevent minors from accessing their content. They're taking away the rights of people in order to enforce the law. Plain and simple. When they're bypassing the courts, when they're bypassing the Constitution, they're bypassing the country's laws to enforce new rules, this is what they're going to. And the thing is, here's what the law breaks down to. The law requires websites to mandatory tools for added age verification, and we know age verification does not work, and addresses deepfakes and non-consensual distribution of personal sex videos. Okay, where's the children part of this? It's not seen in there. The second section, okay, which is the most objected by right-wing lawmakers, aims to protect the public from foreign propaganda, disinformation, and interference. It also criminalizes new form of slander, bullying, and vague defines sexist and sexual outrage. The third part of the law regulates data protection. Now you hear it on the second section. Who determines what slander is, what bullying is? The courts are supposed to do that. Vaguely defines sexist and sexual outrage. In civil terms, hate speech, hate rhetoric, sexist talks, it could be anything to that nature. In this country, hate speech does not exist. It's not a word. It is a made-up word. People don't realize that. They throw these word salads around. They say, well, yeah, there is hate speech. No. According to the Constitution, there isn't. There have been multiple Supreme Court rulings, including the last one recently was 2017, that says you cannot block someone's opinion because they did not, the other person did not like what the person said. That is, that deposes hate speech. There's no hate speech here. It's someone's opinion. Whether you like it or not, there are many things, I hear people, spewing, I don't like it. Unfortunately, they have the right to say it in this country. See, the law protects all of us when it comes down to it in the United States. When you look to the perspective that it's like, well, this guy, he's very racist against this, against Chinese, against black. Well, he can say whatever he wants. Sticks and stones will break our bones, but words will never hurt me. Remember that? Remember, for those of us in my age group that, they used to say to us as a kid, and it's still true to this day. If someone calls you the N-word, if someone calls you, the spick or anything like that, they can spew it all they want. Brush it off. Now, if they attack you, that is a different story. That is a crime. If they're attacking you for the color of your skin or what you're talking and stuff like that, that is a violation of your own constitutional rights. See, all these nut jobs marching around, let them march. Let them march on there. They're just making themselves stupid, and they're pointing themselves out to being the way they are. Understand that. See, when you enforce, you embolden their points is when you remove the constitutional rights. Because some of the things they say is the things that the politicians want to do these days. You don't want to agree with someone that, you know, that is radical to that situation or racist and stuff like that. You want to be everyone to have an equal opinion to it. Now, when it comes to online, and this is like Ted Cruz had said this, when was that? About 2012, I think it was.
3 questions that every one of us should ask. Number 1, should Congress have the authority, the constitutional authority, to ban movies? Number 2, should Congress have the constitutional authority to ban books? And number 3, should Congress have the constitutional authority to ban the NAACP from speaking about politics?
You want to answer no to all 3 of those. You don't want your government to interfere with your own life, your own personal. What you do in your home is your personal business. Okay? What you do in your home as far as watching TV, okay? What you're reading, what you're eating, you know, that's your personal business. If I want to sit down and watch something on XVid videos or Pornhub and all that, that's my business. I don't go around telling people, hey, I watch porn movies, all that. I don't want people to know what I watch in my own home. Sometimes I might talk about a movie I've seen, yes, in a regular movie, you know. But I know when to talk about something and when not to. For example, there are people I know who don't like horror films. I'm not going to talk to them about horror films because I know they don't like horror films. But I'm allowed to watch them. Yeah, sure, of course. Some of them are maybe grotesque. Some of them may be very bloody, and you know, they're just literally they're people ripping their limbs and stuff like that. But see, this is the thought patterns that these people have. They say we need to ban that. We don't need that. That constitutes the violence that we have today. No. What we have in this world right now, in this country, is we have mental issues. There are people that are very depressed out there. They're going through a lot. I love how they especially like the Russians did this and all that. Someone who commits suicide, they go into his home and say, hey, this guy's got a poster of Death Note on his wall. Must mean that Death Note caused his death. Or he has a Dalek on his wall. Oh, must mean Doctor Who killed him for watching Doctor Who. See what I mean? A particular picture, a particular, you know, you don't know what was in his mind. And that's the thing about it is, there are people who need help out there, and you see them on the street all the time. You know, go to Japan. Look at the videos out of Japan of all the people who have locked themselves away in their homes. No interaction with people, period. No phone calls, no letters. They just stay in solitary confinement, watching television or reading a book. They order their food and their groceries. They tell the people, leave it at the door, I'll get it. You know, this is the things that people are going through there and here as well. And the government's going to use this against you every day. When you see someone like somewhere like France, which is they're falling into that old rhetoric, back during WW2. That you have people in there that they're socialists and stuff like that, that they just want to go back to the old ways. I mean, even further back than that. You know what happened on that? You know, even further back before World War II, you know, you had a revolution in this country. And what did the people go? They went to the monarchies and stuff like that, and people lost their heads. And you know, people in France are protesting on a daily basis. So, comment in the lines below, let me know on there, because, people will criticize what I say on this channel, but all I am is, I'm just a madman with the show.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, please comment, like, and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have that ability to help support this and many other channels. Especially now more than ever, since the passing of a new law in the United Kingdom that will diminish the reach of many channels and affect our advertisers. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have two ways. There are two links in the description below. The first will send you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will send you to our gear store where you can purchase t-shirt, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.